Aloha, all you money makers. This is Indar Lang, and I'm your Hawaii money guy. And I'm super excited to introduce my great friend Derrick. I'm super excited to have him on the show and just talk business about flipping, wholesaling. He's got a huge business out in Dallas, in Texas, not in Dallas, all over Texas, right? What part of Texas are you?
We're in Houston specifically.
Houston. Nice. So we're super excited. Let's dive on into it, guys. We're gonna get at it. Let's do it, guys.
Just before we get started, I'd love it if you guys could subscribe below, and that way we can reach more people and just help people make their money work for them in any different way we can. Thank you guys, and let's get started in today's content.
So thank you, Derrick, for having you on our show today. Super excited. Tell us a little bit about your background and who you are and so forth for all the people who are not following out there because you got a huge Instagram following. So tell some people
Yeah,
who you are and so forth.
absolutely. So my name is Derek, aka Flipping a House on all social medias. And yeah, I'm an investor here in the Houston market specifically. We do deals occasionally in Dallas and San Antonio, but our main focus is
Houston.
Houston. And yeah, we our main business model is flipping. We flip anywhere from 10 to 15 houses at a time. And then we also wholesale like 1 to 3 deals a month. And then I'm also working on a few new development projects. And then, we do Airbnb also. So I'm kind of
Mhm.
all over the place. But I would say my superpower or skill is just finding like deeply discounted off market properties. And then once we get those, we just kind of figure out how we want to exit those for the biggest profit with the least amount of work. That's a little bit about what we do. Me specifically, I come from a small town. I ended up moving to Houston when I was like 19. And I had this idea of going to college, becoming a petroleum engineer, and then eventually getting into real estate. And I ended up going to a seminar and basically found out about wholesaling and was intrigued. I hated college, so I was like, let me try this for a couple years. And, that was 7 years ago, 8 years ago now, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, I just kind of dove headfirst into wholesaling, and it's just kind of evolved into everything that it is today.
So you grew up in Texas, born and raised since a kid? Yeah.
No, in East Tennessee, actually, in a small
Oh,
town of like
Tennessee. Yeah.
10,000 people. There was
Oh, I remember you telling me that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
That's right.
not really a lot to do there. For me per se, I would say, a lot of people that I graduated with, they either like work at Walmart or a factory and,
Yeah.
live a very simple life, which is great. It's just for me, I wanted to make a lot of money, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that in my small town.
Yeah.
So when I came to Houston, everything just kind of clicked, and I was like, I need to move here. And my dad lived here at the time, so it just all the pieces kind of fell into place.
So you have a huge Instagram flipping a house following. What was that like building that and trying to flip homes and so forth? Because I remember early on, you were documenting everything, even just you still do walk into your house and doing a day in a life. You've been doing that for years. What was it? Is it a lot of work to try and do both, or what is it like to? Because a lot of people try to do both, of course.
Yeah, so I think so. I always tell people with the social media aspect of it that it's actually easier for us in the business just because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, this in our day to day, like the craziest things happen.
Mhm.
So for me, I really just started documenting it. I mean, it's definitely another side of the business, but what it's evolved into and all the work that I've poured into it, it's really become its own like lead generation. And to the point where now we only really pay for one marketing form. The rest is all social media. And that's really how we get a majority of our deals. On top of that, I've met lenders. I
Mhm.
mean, all my friends. I mean, my whole life really, as crazy as it sounds, revolves around social media. And anybody that's in my life, including yourself, has come from social media. So I kind of use it as a tool. I mean, I definitely
No, no,
spend.
that's not true. I met you at the event, and then I met you at the event first, actually, in
Yeah, no,
Arizona.
but I say that because the only reason I was invited to the event though was because of social
Oh yeah,
media.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
So it's just it's we're always on social media. I've just decided to use it as a tool, and along the way, I really just have shared my journey. I don't really try to sell too much. I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. I'm just showing people like, hey, I was this kid, waiting tables in high or in college, just hating life, and I wanted something better, and this is what I did. And I've just kind of taken people along, through that journey of what it looks like of making a lot
Yeah.
of mistakes and, figuring it out.
So as I mentioned earlier, me and Derek met at a private mastermind where it it was an invite only of very high level successful people, and super excited to even be able to attend that event. I'm sure a lot of people would just be, killing to go to that event. It wasn't cheap, it cost a lot of money plus flights and time away from business and family. But the bond and the relationship we built, actually, me and Derek and a few others, we got very close, uh, doing some crazy stuff. But we were at this event, just just a combination of being around successful people, entrepreneurs, like-minded people, real estate people. I think all of that just helped let our guards down and just gave a quick relatability of a close friendship compared to, years and years of developing a friendship with somebody just in that short week or so that we were together. I think combination of all of that just built this really tight trust relationship type of friends. I call Derek a good friend now, even though we've only hung out a few times, but I think we're just in that same, all of us at the event, all in the same mindset in life. And we know each other's struggles. We know each other's. I just know, like, when some projects hurting or whatever, I just know, you know, the same feeling. I just felt it. And
Yeah, no, I think we all found a lot of things to relate on. Like you said, it's when you get to this point in life, not that we're better or anything. I would just say all the people in that group chose a different way to live their life, and we all did that simultaneously through real estate. And I think when you do that, and like you said, you go through the challenges, the struggles of losing friends, families, money, uh,
Mhm.
making a lot of money, losing a lot of money. We all had a very common bond, and it takes a certain type of person to be able to do those things and still, survive, especially in real estate. So I think it was very easy for us all to, let our guards down and, see where the other person was coming from. And, that's why these masterminds are so important, or even just not even masterminds, just conferences in general, where you're
Yeah.
around people that want, more out of life, or they may have bigger aspirations. Our commonness just happened to be real estate at that event.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I highly recommend you guys to even go to just, the different conferences like the Limitless and Bigger Pockets and all the different ones. There's a Better Life one coming up, the Maui Mastermind we have coming up. So just being there and being around other like-minded people just is a game changer to see, what you're working on, struggles, and anything. I mean, just I remember some good books Derek gave me just in a car ride. I went right away downloaded those books when we were in a Jeep tour. But what, the Jeep tour. So what was you've been doing this now for a while. What was a big turning point you recognized early on that, I could relate, where you don't just dive on in right away. You're kind of, trying to juggle life and everything. What was a big turning point you remember when you knew this was the way and to grow and to do this all, dive on in?
Yeah, so I don't think it was just one moment in particular. I think I've had a bunch of small moments that have
Mhm.
kind of happened, but a couple that really stick out is, after I went to that seminar, I didn't take action. I was so fired up and I studied everything, but 8 months went by and I was still in college and I never took action. But I was like fired up and talking about real estate and listening to Bigger Pockets every day. And eventually my girl, she was just like, hey, I know you want to do real estate, but we're not really taking action. So I either need you to take action or shut up about real estate, one or the other. I don't really care which one, just pick one. That was a big moment because I needed that swift kick to take action. And the next day I did. And, I ended up getting a seller appointment like a few weeks later. And, I didn't end up getting the deal, but it showed me that it was possible. And then I really decided that I was going to commit to this business and continue marketing. And, 6 months later, I still didn't have a deal. And I was like breaking down, crying. And once again, my girl was like, hey, look, we've already put this much into it. Let's keep going. And a week later, on my 24th birthday, I ended up getting my first wholesale deal. And then I would say fast forward after that, because those 2 years after getting a deal, and then, I probably did 10 to 15 deals those first 2 years. And,
Mhm.
it was a struggle of making money, losing money. But my next big turning point was probably like meeting my business partner and really collaborating with him, but also like finding a person that's, along this journey has good morals and we kept doing deals together. And once we solidified our partnership, it was just like we really started building our future, I will say, and then also businesses, not just like we're just out here doing a couple of deals, like where we consistently close deals and start buying rentals, and to the point now where, like I said, we're buying flips. Like it seems weekly at this point.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a bunch of small moments that really like domino effect into this like long term thing.
Do you have a I didn't know you have a business partner. You have a business partner on all your deals or some?
No, all of them. Yeah,
Oh,
everything we do. We've been
I
together
didn't
for
know you.
like 5 years now. Yeah.
Oh, he's
He's just
very
like
he
a hermit crab, really.
yeah, because he's not on your social or much. I don't see him much on your stuff.
Yeah, I'll tag him occasionally. And I mean, he has a following as well. He's just not out there as much as I am, but we're
Yeah,
both we're both heavy introverts, so it's hard for him, and it's hard for me, but I see the benefits, right? So I have to get outside of my comfort zone, and
yeah.
get out there and shake hands and kiss babies and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. I'm an introvert too. I don't like to talk. It's got to force yourself to do it sometimes, but it's good. I mean, your following is great. You got a huge following, and what do you think's been working the best? I'm curious in your social media, post and feed and everything.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely changed over the years. From I mean, just the platforms have changed. Now we're in this like short form content. So I mean,
Mhm.
like lately, reels and TikToks, and it's still the same thing as like sharing my journey. It's just clipping those moments, and finding those things that are really going to stick out, and that people find commonness in, that they can relate to. Like going to a house and there's squatters there, or just being in a house and there's a wild animal. It's just, but clipping those moments and creating short form content. So but I think the most important thing is like I'm probably one of the most consistent people. Like that's my friends. I have a lot of friends here in Houston that have started doing content, and they see how hard it is. But one thing that they always say is like, I always see you, right? And it's because I'm so consistent with it.
Yeah,
And I think you have to stay in front of people because you're trying to break through the noise, right? And there's so much noise out there, whether that's the Kardashians or your friends getting married or whatever it may be. It's hard to stay in front of people, and I try to do that by posting consistently, whether that's
yeah.
Instagram, TikTok, or like we talked about YouTube. It's just YouTube is a whole it's a whole different person, right? It takes somebody different that's going to sit down and watch your content or hear you speak for 10 plus minutes.
Yeah.
But it's still a, a need, a necessity, if you're going to grow your brand, because those are the people that are going to really stick with you. If somebody's willing to sit down and watch a long form video of you, they're definitely interested in the content and what you're putting out.
And it's a lot of work, just in general, just to do it all, to social media in general, and it bogs me down sometimes. But so where are you at today? You're doing. What does your portfolio look like today? So how many flips you got going, just about, and how many rentals and Airbnbs you got going?
Yeah, so like rentals, I think I have five personally.
Nice.
And then
Airbnbs, all of them, all Airbnbs.
no, those are all like
Oh,
traditional rentals. When it comes to the
okay.
Airbnbs, we have I think 10 or 11 right now, and then we're
Nice,
building a couple more. And those are
nice.
all in different phases. Like five of them are active. The other ones are getting worked on or starting getting worked on or finishing.
Yeah,
Um, and then flips, like I said, I think right now we have 13 that we own. Now, a lot of those are for sale. There's only like four that are actively getting worked on or
yep.
finished
I know
up.
what you mean. Yep.
And then, we're buying two more this week. I just bought another one last week, and I just went under contract today on one. So, I mean, we're always buying and selling. But, a lot of those, I'm a lazy flipper. So a lot of those are carpet paint, light fixtures, and
Those
we
are the best
relist.
ones. Those are the best ones. Yeah,
Yeah. But I also, I have like three hoarder houses right now too. So,
yeah,
I mean, there's definitely some heavier ones, but it keeps my contractor busy. But and then with the new builds, they're just kind of in the background, just waiting on city approval, and then we can start construction. But yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. But the main thing I focus on day to day, just because it's so active, is really like the flips and
yeah.
social media, because that's where I find a majority of my deals, or they're brought to me is through social media.
What are you loving now? Are you more in love with keeping than doing the Airbnbs? I feel are those more appealing to you now? More?
Uh,
I mean,
no, I mean, for me, when I think of like traditional rentals, I will always buy them. It's just like a long-term play. It really doesn't move the needle that much today, but when you look at the overall picture, it's
mhm,
making a difference. The Airbnbs are cool too, but I've kind of just given that off to my business partner just because I have so much going on.
mm,
But my favorite thing, honestly, is probably making content or putting deals together. Like when I get a deal or somebody sends me a lead, seeing if I can get it at the right price and seeing if I can get clear title and closing it, and how can I create a win-win, and can I sell it quick or is it going to take a little bit longer? I just like putting the pieces of the puzzle together. That's honestly probably my favorite part.
mm. Yeah, the art of the deal. I love it. That's always the addicting part. Not the
Right.
rest of it, but just getting the deal and
Yeah.
structuring it to make it win. It's the funnest part. I know what you mean.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But the Airbnbs and all that stuff is nice to get that cash flow. It keeps the lights on sometimes too. So that's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely comes with more problems too, though, right? People in and out of your
Mhm.
house every day.
Yeah.
Stuff is always breaking. So I mean, it's everything comes with its own challenges, even though it all looks sexy online.
Yeah, yeah. People don't see the behind the scenes. I actually just came from an Airbnb myself, went to Target, and I was getting all some last minute stuff that we got missed and carrying it all up, and I'm sweating, and people don't see some of the struggles of what it takes to get some of this stuff to the finish line. Always at the very beginning of any project you do, and the very end is as I find where most of the work is needed,
Yeah,
from my side.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
but that sexy part of it is not so sexy sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
um, so you recommend, of course, spending a lot of time on social media to help grow and help find it. That's amazing. You find investors and deals from it all. I actually don't get too much from either one, but we've been trying to push more as well. So I would say it's worth it if the majority of everything's coming from there. Um, but that was going to be one of my questions actually. So what does the future look like? Just keep on doing that. What do you have? What do you have in mind?
Yeah. So I mean, definitely, I want to keep growing the social media, just because I think the leverage with social media is a lot greater than real estate is. I think real estate is a safe bet, but when I look at like how can I make millions of dollars over the next couple of years, yeah, some will be in real estate, but I think a majority will be through social media.
Yeah.
Whether that's monetizing my brand or just growing the things that I already have, whether that's deal flow, definitely getting into bigger deals. I mean, we've already been putting in offers on apartments and some self
Mhm.
storage. That's definitely the
That's cool.
goal.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's stopping you? You should be doing some little multifamily deals over there. You should. They are. There's a ton of sexy ones over there. I'm sure.
yeah. I mean, we already have a couple of the smaller ones. Like we have a couple of duplexes and a quad
Mhm.
and little things. But I definitely want to get something bigger, maybe like a 50 to 200 unit or something like that.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, just doing those deals. I'll still be doing single family because I get so many deals sent to me that it's
Mhm.
like why wouldn't I just be leaving money on the table? But I think as we go forward, just really focusing on the content, my brand, and bigger deals. Like I said, the flipping it pays the bills, it keeps the lights on. But if I'm going to be this stressed out, I at least want to be making a
Exactly.
million or
Yeah.
two a deal, not
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
30, 40,000.
Yeah.
So those are the things, just bigger picture items. I use everything as a stepping stone, and that's what flipping and wholesaling has been for me, to really build that capital and set myself up for the future. But I definitely want to start doing bigger deals. There's no reason why I shouldn't be. So that's just kind of where our focus is headed, and I think we'll get one by the end of the year for sure.
Yeah. That'd be exciting.
hmm
So you do all your social media yourself. I mean, you have a VA that helps edit, but you post and everything, you record everything.
Yeah, for the most part, I just hired a videographer that's on retainer, so we're gonna start doing a couple videos a week.
Yeah.
And then I have a VA that edits, and he'll probably the videographer I hired will probably start taking over some editing. and the VA will probably handle like the reels and the TikToks. But for the most part, yeah, I'm very hands on.
Mhm.
I just it's just something I really like doing. I don't like the editing, but I don't mind shooting. I don't mind speaking.
Yeah.
Um,
Are
you
you just
know,
shooting from your iPhone mostly and then uploading it to your editor?
it depends.
Yeah.
If it's like day to day, like day in the life stuff, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
always just use my iPhone. But if I'm gonna sit down and shoot a YouTube video, I have a couple cameras that I'll set up, or if I'm out, my videographer he has a camera, he'll just
Yeah, of
shoot.
course.
I'll
Yeah.
send that to the VA to get edited. But yeah, definitely gonna be shooting more content, better quality content. But the raw does really good too. Like people can see, like, hey, it's just me. Like I'm
Mm.
not I don't have a big, publicist and team and everything, it's just me putting it out. But I would eventually like to have more of a team around it and maybe even a content space. As I do want to make more content, not just, solely around real estate, whether that's, relationships or money and just, getting better all around in life. I think real estate's just kind of like my ticket in the door, really.
Mm, mm. Well, we have this cool question from one of our one follower out there. This guy Bobby. So Bobby, thank you, Bobby, for your question. Um, his question is: when closing a deal, how can new investors get over their fear of being so nervous? So,
Mm.
new investor, remember when you're new and you're buying your first deal? It's very scary, especially on your first one. How would you get over your fear of for the new guy out there?
So I always say repetition is the mother of skill, right? I think that's a Jim
Mm,
Rohn quote, but I think just by doing it, so whether that's, you're at the closing table, as long as you've ran your numbers enough times and you've looked at enough deals,
yeah,
no matter how scary it is, I mean, that's all you can depend on because, women lie, men lie, numbers do not. So it's, if your numbers are good and you've done your research and you've looked at enough properties,
yeah,
there's nothing that you should fear. That's why I tell everybody, if you're newer, especially, you should be running numbers on at least 5 properties a day, which really isn't that hard to do if you just hop in some investment Facebook groups or, you're on one of these big wholesale lists and, maybe they use Investor Lift or, whatever
mhm,
the case may be. As long as you're looking at properties and building that strength muscle, you'll feel more and more confident. But, you're never going to get to a point where you have 100% confidence on every deal because every
I
deal is
think
different, right? Like you just have to go
I'm
through
still fear. I'm still scared on some deals I do.
it.
I don't think the fear is ever gonna leave you. It's just the trust in the numbers. It's like you said.
Yeah, and there's deals. I have a deal that, like I said, the deal I was supposed to close today. It's a really, really good deal. It's worth like 250. We're getting it for like 145.
Nice.
And my lender did have a little bit of pushback, but even though the numbers are great, still, it still makes me nervous, right? It's her money,
Yeah,
like there's never going to be a point where I don't feel like, cause hindsight is 2020, right? So it's like you're not
yeah,
going to know everything you did right and wrong until after you do it. You just have to go through the process. So I'd say just pull the trigger and build that strength muscle. And once it's over, as long as you don't lose money, or even if you do and you can
yeah.
survive, do another one and you'll get better, and then do another one and then do another one, and that muscle will build.
Yeah, that first deal is it's like popping your cherry. It's like it just once you do that first one, your mind's blown, and you're just awakened to this whole thing. And the coolest thing I think about real estate is just like you said earlier, just by putting in offers and just getting out there. Just because you get an offer accepted doesn't mean you have to do the deal. So you know, just great offers. Get out there and do repetition of start playing. Getting up the bat and start taking some swings you'll eventually get a home run. So you're not going to get any home runs until you start swinging. So get out there and start putting in offers, and talking to agents, and just get a feel from the whole industry. As was definitely for me, as I think you kind of alluded to earlier, was just talking about real estate and meeting agents and getting like involved in this new foreign language. Real estate's like its own language sometimes, and getting comfortable talking to agents, putting in offers, understanding the closing and working with a lender and all this kind of stuff that I think me and you take for granted nowadays. But it was a whole new world, getting the ball rolling, of course. And
Yeah, no, it's a process, and it seems so long ago. I mean, like I said, it's been almost 8 years ago. But like you said, just getting in and learning the lingo, like ARVs and
Hmm. Hmm.
LTVs, and just these things that, like you said, we talk about every day. Most people, they may not understand, but if you just listen to 20 Bigger Pockets episodes, or a podcast like this, you'll be quick to start learning the
Yeah.
lingo, and feel more comfortable, right? Because I think that's just what it is. You don't feel comfortable with something new. You just have to get in and you have to do it. Like that's
Yeah.
it. Just do it, really.
Just do it. Yeah, I can't remember that. I can't really remember how it all started too, and it's just there's no way to start other than to just take action, and that's probably the hardest part of it all is to take action. But it's little steps, of course. But I know you have a new class coming up, so let's talk about that. You have a new amazing educational program coming out, right? So
Yeah, yeah. So probably since for the last 5 or 6 years, we've done a lot of free education, obviously from my course, or from my social media, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
And we've done a lot of local free events, whether that's 2 to 3 a year. And one of the things that I always get is people want more, whether that's more time, more knowledge, just more experience, right? Because that's the best way to learn. And I know even for me, when I did the weekend course, they were charging an outrageous amount, and I still was happy to do it because I saw the value in real estate. But through doing the free classes, seeing how much people charge for watered down crap is the nicest way to put it. I feel like it's my duty, my obligation to be able to provide, um, you know, basically classes or a course for people, and I really want to create an environment and, a group where everybody is go-givers. I see what Pace has done with Sub 2 and a couple of my other friends with their coaching, and I really enjoy that. I see the community that they've created. So yeah, we've put together a course. It's going to cover, wholesaling, flipping, and how to buy rentals, as those are the three things that we really focus on. And yeah, it'll basically be like a real estate academy where you can learn those three subjects in particular, and then we'll have weekly coaching classes as well, where we go over either a subject in the course, or if somebody has, something that they're dealing with on a deal, we could just focus on that problem, but it also be a teaching mechanism for the rest of the group. So yeah, we're kind of figuring it out right now. Like I told you before, we just got through filming everything. We got everything edited. I just have to review all of that stuff, and then we got to work on setting up website funnels and a couple other things. But it's going to be a very inexpensive way to learn real estate compared to what most people offer. And on top of that, the value that you're going to receive is, it's going to be second to none. We spent a few days just filming alone, and it's taken about a month just to get everything edited to the way that we want. So
mhm,
I know, we were going to drop it before the end of last year, but it just, it hasn't been ready. And for me, if I put out a product, I want it,
yeah.
and we're still going to get feedback on it, but I want it to be, almost
What's
perfect.
the three courses you're gonna cover? Your three topics you're gonna cover? You told me
Yeah.
you're
So,
flipping. Yeah,
wholesaling in particular, because I feel like if you can learn wholesaling, you can literally do anything in this business. It's probably one
yeah.
of the hardest, but also most crucial parts of real estate. So
Mhm.
wholesaling, and then fix and flipping. So how to acquire a property, whether that's off market, on market, whatever it may be. Find the hard money, find the contractors. It's going to break down everything: how to make money, how to make sure you don't lose money. And then the last one is going to be buying rentals, specifically using the BRRRR method. But we'll talk about other ways that you can, acquire rentals as well. It won't just be the BRRRR method. That's what the main thing that we do. And I think most people should, as it's the fastest way to, leverage and start building wealth. Even right now when rates are crazy, I know a lot of people are saying that the BRRRR method is dead and all this, but if you can get free equity in a home, that's 30, 40, $50,000 for free. Why wouldn't you? So yeah, it's just going to break down those three main categories, and just talk about how to get into real estate all the way to growing, your wealth with real estate, whether that's through
Yeah,
single family or multifamily.
yeah. That's great. I mean, it's nice to have a course out there just for followers and all the people who are asking so much questions, and have a safe space for them to come with a community. It's amazing, and I, I, I'm excited to hear how it goes and when you launch it and so forth. Um, but great. So last part, where can all the audience find you on your social media and all the other platforms are you on? What platforms are you on?
Yeah, so I mean, my main thing is Instagram and TikTok, but we're also on YouTube, and then I'm on Facebook too. But yeah, it's just at flipping a house, just literally how it sounds, FLIPPINGA, and then house HOUSE. But yeah, I drop daily content. I'm trying to do weekly YouTube videos. I'm trying to get up to 2 weekly YouTube videos. It's, like I said, bringing on the videographer is going to help me a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm everywhere really. I'm not hard to
You
find.
post you post daily too? So like
Yeah, yeah. On Instagram, I mean, it's literally throughout my day and random thoughts that come to my head
yeah, yeah,
and
nice.
situations as well. So yeah, I'm there.
Nice. Well, thank you guys so much for having us. Follow our social as well, Indar Hawaii on all the different platforms, and take a paddle on over and just message something on the comments. And don't be scared to ask question, guys. I think that's the biggest advice I would give anyone out there because we all started from not knowing nothing, and the only way to learn is to keep on asking questions and to go after and take some action. So follow us in Hawaii and flipping the house. Thank you so much for having uh, you being on the show today, and please, guys, stay tuned for more. So thank you, Derek. Thank you for being on the show.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you having me, and hopefully people reach out.
Thank you. Thank you.